Have you ever wondered what the real story is behind the most devastating pandemic in modern history? What if I told you that Elon Musk just uncovered the best-kept secret? Yes, you heard right. Elon Musk has revealed what he believes is the true origin of COVID-19, and they point to a very particular culprit. It was funded by... And the most surprising thing is that statement points directly to an organization that, on the surface, helps with humanitarian causes. For decades, its public image has been that of an entity committed to global well-being, deploying resources and personnel in crisis zones, natural disasters, and poverty-stricken regions. Its campaigns, full of messages of hope and solidarity, have managed to win the trust of millions of people worldwide. However, behind this facade of altruism, unsettling questions are beginning to emerge about its true intentions and the real scope of its operations. Because, although its official mission is to help those most in need, there are signs that this organization could be linked to much darker and more complex interests. Leaked reports and testimonies from former employees suggest the existence of a network of secret contacts, closed-door meetings, and collaborations with government and private entities operating in the shadows. Could it be that, under the guise of humanitarian aid, activities are being carried out that escape public scrutiny? Musk hinted that USAID, the U.S. Agency for International Development, might be involved in funding research that could have helped create and spread the virus in a Chinese lab. This accusation, if true, would call into question not only the agency's reputation, but also the transparency of international scientific programs. USAID, known for its role in global development and cooperation, would have funneled funds into high-risk biological projects, collaborating with foreign laboratories under the justification of pandemic prevention. But to what extent were these collaborations supervised? Who really authorized these experiments and for what purposes? Who really controls this organization? Are its leaders making the key decisions? Or are there outside forces, governments, intelligence agencies, multinational corporations, influencing its actions from the shadows? The power structure behind USAID seems much more complex than what is publicly shown, with connections that extend to spheres of political and economic influence globally. What secrets does it hold? And what covert activities has it carried out in the shadows for decades? Classified documents, hidden files, and confidential operations have fueled theories about its involvement in intelligence missions, information manipulation, and high-risk scientific experiments. Some researchers argue that the organization has served as a cover for operations that go far beyond humanitarian aid, including the collection of sensitive data and intervention in the internal affairs of other countries. The answer could forever change how we see the official story about the pandemic and the relationship between science, power, and global espionage. If these suspicions are confirmed, we would have to rethink not only USAID's role, but also the trust we place in international institutions. The line between scientific cooperation and geopolitical manipulation is becoming increasingly blurred, and the impact of these revelations could shake the foundations of the global narrative about the pandemic and the true extent of major powers' influence on science and public health. But that's not all. Through his social media, Musk hinted that the organization perhaps at the center of all this is the United States Agency for International Development, USAID. That very organization that for decades has been at the center of controversies, accused of having ties to the CIA and of operating as a covert front for intelligence interests around the world. So what happened a few days ago? Well, Elon Musk himself said that USAID paid for research connected to biological weapons, which might have helped create the virus in a Chinese lab. But that's not all. Documents show that over $50 million was sent to EcoHealth Alliance, a non-governmental organization focused on preventing pandemics, which also investigated the origin of SARS-CoV-2. What were these funds used for? To protect the labs in Wuhan, where dangerous experiments were being done, including gain of function, a method that tries to change viruses to make them more dangerous and easier to spread. Between 2009 and 2019, USAID partnered with EcoHealth on the PREDICT program. This program found 1,200 new viruses. It also trained over 5,000 people, and it made 60 labs around the world better. And here's the dark truth. What many don't know is that, behind the closed doors of government agencies and secret labs, alliances were formed that changed the course of recent history. In the shadows of international diplomacy, the teamwork between science groups and intelligence agencies became a powerful, but also dangerous tool. It's said that this teamwork might have given the CIA a direct way to sneak agents into biological places all over the world, in exchange for money and sharing technology. Imagine the reach. Secret agents moving among scientists, getting sensitive information, and watching risky experiments. All of this looking like international cooperation and scientific progress. Yes, even though it sounds like a spy movie, some people say this was real and that the line between science and spying became fuzzier and fuzzier. It's pointed out that USAID sent an amazing $53 million to EcoHealth Alliance, an amount that not only shows financial help, but also an open door to hidden interests and clever moves. This money, from American taxpayers, was given with the promise of protecting global health, but some argue that the real reasons went much deeper. With those funds, EcoHealth Alliance supported research in Wuhan, the center of the world's big argument. The high-security labs became the main focus, while scientists and agents worked side by side, sometimes not really knowing who was next to them. And this is where the most troubling idea comes up, that, according to some, maybe these studies and partnerships accidentally led to the creation of COVID-19, a possibility that still causes arguments, suspicions, and unanswered questions all over the world. But it doesn't stop there. USAID's history is full of events that have caused arguments and suspicion all over the world. Even though it officially says it's an agency for working together internationally and helping countries grow, its actions have been looked at closely by governments, reporters, and independent groups. When you look at USAID's long history, it seems like many of its actions are more about spy work than helping people. Many reports and stories have said that, pretending to be doing good projects, the agency has gotten involved in other countries' private matters, gathering secret information and helping groups that are against the government. In 2013, a document leaked by WikiLeaks showed that one of their plans was to mess with governments, split up political groups, and make countries less united if they were seen as enemies. These papers showed that USAID wasn't just paying for development projects, but also planning ways to change what people thought and to control political events. A clear example of this was their involvement in Venezuela, where it was shown that they supported groups and movements trying to cause trouble for the government. The protests and demonstrations in the South American country were partly helped by money and advice from programs funded by USAID, which caused diplomatic problems and accusations of meddling. And in 2014, the news that USAID paid for Twitter-like apps to start rebellions in Cuba caused a big international fuss. The goal was to create secret social networks that would let young Cubans organize and challenge the government, all with the American agency watching and paying for it. These events have made people argue more about what USAID's real role is in world politics. USAID funds have also been linked to coups in Haiti, Egypt, and Ukraine. And what's really behind the funding of these organizations? Could it be that all that money, the billions, served for something more than just humanitarian aid? From 2009 to 2019, USAID teamed up with EcoHealth on a program called Predict. The outcome? Well, 1,200 new viruses found. Thousands of scientists trained, but what secrets were hidden in those labs? Or what if those gain-of-function studies, which try to make viruses stronger, aren't just risky, but are actually potential biological weapons? And here's the most unsettling part. A former EcoHealth vice president, Dr. Andrew Huff, in 2022, revealed direct links between EcoHealth and the CIA. And what does this mean? Could it be that the CIA itself is involved in creating or manipulating the virus? And well, what if the whole official story, that the virus came from an animal in a market, is just a smokescreen? The truth is, even the former CDC director himself, Dr. Robert Redfield, says the official story just doesn't add up. The virus probably came from a lab, he says, and that US funding, including from USAID, might have been the spark. What if I told you that the United States government, the very ones who've been telling us for decades that they protect us, have been covering up the truth? That they've funneled millions into dangerous research that could have led to this very pandemic? What else are they hiding? And what if, really, the story they tell us is only part of the puzzle? It's time to wake up, to question, to demand answers. Because the line between truth and lies might be much thinner than you think. What's behind that veil of secrets? Are you willing to be told what you want to hear, or to look for the real story? Go ahead and subscribe. Share this message with others who still believe the official stories, and tell us what you think in the comments. Because maybe what we don't want to see today will be too late tomorrow. Are you ready to find the hidden truth?
If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you don't miss out on future ideas that challenge us to think outside the box. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, and don't forget to always maintain that curiosity that drives progress. Also, explore even more fascinating content on our channel. From life-changing tips and cutting-edge technology, to the mysteries of spirituality, travel to various countries, delicious recipes, health hacks, and language learning, there's something here to spark your curiosity and elevate your life. Dive in and discover a world of knowledge awaits us.